Welcome to German History with a German accent. My name is Wolf, W-O-L-F, just like the animal, and in today's video I'm speaking about Erich Raeder. As always, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button and drop me a comment below. Erich Johann Albert Raeder was born on April 24th in the year 1876 in Wandsbek, which is now part of Hamburg, as son of Hans Friedrich Eduard and Gertrud Wilhelmina Margareta Raeder. After he graduated school in the year 1894, Erich Raeder joined the Kaiserliche Marine, the German Imperial Navy. After he spent time on the vessels Storch as well as the Gneisenau, he was promoted to the rank of Oberleutnant zur See in the year 1900. In the early 1900s, he was sent far east to observe the Russo-Japanese War that lasted from 1904 until 1905. Raeder was selected for this posting since he was fluent in Russian. Erich Raeder was then transferred into public relations, where he briefed journalists whom would write articles about the Imperial Navy. During this time, he got in contact with Admiral Alfred von Tirpitz, State Secretary of the Navy, as well as politicians sitting in the German Reichstag. Together with Tirpitz, Raeder helped influencing the politicians to pass the Third Navy Law that committed to building above-water big-gun battleships. When he was posted as navigational officer aboard the Emperor's yacht from 1910 until 1912, he developed a sympathy for Kaiser Wilhelm II, the German Emperor, which he would openly stand to. Following this posting, Erich Raeder, now ranked as a Korvettenkapitän, became the chief of staff for Franz Hipper, whom was in charge of the reconnaissance forces of the German High Seas Fleet. In this position, Erich Raeder participated in the First World War and took part in the Battle of the Dogger Bank in the year 1915, as well as the Battle of Jutland in the following year. By the end of the First World War, Raeder was appointed to be the deputy of the Naval State Secretary in October 1918. In this position, he tried to achieve the Scheer program, named after Admiral Reinhard Scheer, to build some 400 and more submarines, although Raeder himself had its doubts about the submarines. Erich Raeder helped to fight the naval mutiny in late 1918, where German sailors refused the orders to ship out and fight the Royal Navy at sea to save the honor of the branch. 2 years later, he, together with the majority of the Navy officers, supported the Kapp-Lüttwitz Putsch in the year 1920. But since this putsch failed after only a few days, Erich Raeder was transferred into the naval archives for the next 2 years, before he resumed to climb the career ladder and held the rank of Vize-Admiral by 1925. Only 3 years later, Erich Raeder became the commander-in-chief of the Kriegsmarine. In this position, he tried hard to pledge his loyalty to the constitution of the Weimar Republic, since he was viewed in public as a right-wing enemy of the Republic. Raeder, whom was described as hard-working, cool and distant, even his friends said they knew very little about him, did view the social democracy critically and preferred a right government, but also called Hitler's speeches in the early 1930s criminal. Yet, during the revealing of the Naval Memorial in La Boe, he was the only officer using the Nazi salute and pledging his loyalty to National Socialism in the year 1939. As Oberbefehlshaber of the Reichsmarine, or Commander-in-Chief of the Reichsmarine, he pushed for the building of the armored ships of the Deutschland-class cruisers and presented plans in the early 1930s of building vessels in violation with the Treaty of Versailles. In 1935, the Reichsmarine was renamed into Kriegsmarine, with Erich Raeder remaining in command, and after the British-German Naval Conference, the Kriegsmarine boosted the building of big-gun battleships, including the Bismarck or the German aircraft carrier Graf Zeppelin, which was never finished. In Raeder's opinion, since 1939 he was holding the rank of Großadmiral, the Kriegsmarine was not ready to successfully fight the Royal Navy by the beginning of the Second World War. And since the above-water war vessels had no significant successes in the naval warfare in the Second World War, Erich Raeder had a hard time to remain the commander-in-chief of the Kriegsmarine. Instead of the above-water warships, it was the German submarine force, commanded by Karl Dönitz, that achieved successes in the Second World War. This resulted in prioritizing the submarines versus the above-water warships. By 1942, the above-water vessels were transferred to Norway to clear the French harbors for the submarine maintenance. By the end of the same year, Raeder clashed with the German dictator after another above-water warship assault against the Royal Navy failed. It was the Battle of the Barents Sea. Hitler was enraged and told Raeder he would scrap all the above-water warships and use the guns on coastal defense stations like the Atlantic Wall. Following this, Erich Raeder asked for his dismissal, which was granted in January 1943, and Karl Dönitz became his successor. To save Raeder's face, he was named the Admiralinspekteur or Admiral Inspector of the Kriegsmarine, but this title had absolutely no meaning in the Kriegsmarine. By the end of the Second World War, Erich Raeder was brought into the Soviet Union, where he lived more like a guest, not like a prisoner of war. He was then brought to the Nuremberg trials, where he was tried and found guilty in 3 points: crimes against peace, war crimes, and conspiracy. He was sentenced to life in prison, but asked to be executed by firing squad instead. This request was denied. Erich Raeder was released out of prison in the year 1955 due to poor health, and died 5 years later on November 6, the year 1960, in Kiel at the age of 84. It was Karl Dönitz whom held the funeral speech. Thank you so much for watching.